Okay, so for tonight's dinner, we are making a great make-ahead dish using ground chicken. And this dish kind of evolved from one of our clients was looking for something that had, it was nice and healthy. It had protein in it. It was easy to reheat. And this is kind of what we came up with. So we're going to share that recipe with you tonight. So in my pan here, I have my butter melting down. And to that, I am going to add just some diced onion and some sliced mushrooms. So I'm just using some cremini mushrooms, some white onion. If you have portobellos, you can use those if you want. Shiitakes, oysters, whatever you have kicking around. Just going to give this a little bit of season with a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're just going to stir this around. And we're going to cook this down now till the onions are nice and translucent, the mushrooms are fully cooked, and then when that's ready, we'll come back and we'll get the next part going. Okay, so our onions have cooked down beautifully. Mushrooms are nice and soft, a little bit of caramelization on the onions, which is going to add a really nice depth of flavor. Now I'm going to add my chopped garlic. We're just going to let that cook for a minute or two, just to soften up the garlic. I don't add the garlic at the very beginning. If you add that little bit of minced garlic with those bigger vegetables, by the time the vegetables are cooked, the garlic's going to be burnt and it's going to have a bitterness to the whole dish. So that's why we add that a little bit later on. So once that's softened up nicely, we are going to add our flour. And we're just going to stir this. I'm going to turn this down to a medium-low here. And what we're doing here is we're making our roux, and this is going to thicken our gravy. And we're just going to cook this for a minute or so. By cooking it, we're not adding any color, we're just cooking out the starchiness of the flour. Then we're going to slowly start adding our stock here. So I've got some chicken stock here because we're using ground chicken. I've made this with turkey. Turkey works really well, so you could use turkey stock with that. And I just want to start by adding a little bit. Before I use my whisk, I'm just going to use my spoon here, just to get it started, incorporating in there. And you can see I'm bringing up any of the nice little brown bits on the bottom there. Again, that's going to add a whole more depth of flavor to our dish here. And once I've added a little bit with my spoon, I'm going to go back, add more, and then I will start using a whisk here. And I just want to make sure I'm breaking this up. No lumps. You want to make sure you get into the corners of your pan. That's where things can stick and to scorch. I'm going to turn it up to more of a medium now. Once this is incorporated, we'll add a little bit more. And we'll just keep adding, incorporating, bringing it up to temperature, add in, incorporating, bringing it back up to a simmer until all the liquid is in here. When we get to that point, we'll come back and we'll get to the next step. Okay, so we're back. All the liquid's being added to our pot. You can kind of see how it's nice and the little bubbles coming up here. We've got a nice little bit of thickness going with our gravy. So now I want to add my ground chicken up. Now this is probably something you don't see a lot of. I'm just going to add this straight in here and kind of break it up and cook it that way. So let's just get this in here first and I'll explain why. So what I find is when you get something like, the ground meats, when you really brown them hard at the beginning of a dish, when you add your liquid and what have you, a lot of times you'll be eating it, whether it's pasta sauce, chili, something like this. It gets gritty, almost stringy, a little fibrous. It's because it overcooks when you brown it. Then it needs so much time to simmer to soften up again. So by adding it this way, I don't get that. And because the chicken is so lean, I don't have to worry about a lot of fat coming out of this. And this just gives this a really beautiful velvety, buttery texture to it. So it's the way I do it. If you want to, when you're sauteing the mushrooms and the onions, you can add your turkey then. But give it a try this way, and I think you'll find a real difference to your end dish. So this breaks up nice and easy here. If I don't want any lumps of chicken in here, if I find I'm getting some lumps, I can always take my potato masher, get in, and kind of break it up a little bit. Now, just a little bit of seasoning. We started off with a little bit of salt and pepper when we were sauteing everything. Going to add a little bit more again. I'm just going to build those flavors, develop those flavors, the layers of flavors. Then I'm going to add some fresh chopped sage. And then finally, when I first did this dish, I put peas in it. Shannon prefers corn. So my thought was whoever's cooking dinner can put what they want in it. But you know how it goes, right? Happy wife, happy life. So we're going to go with the corn. And I'm just going to throw my corn kernels. These are just frozen corn kernels that I've thawed. Throw them right in there. I'm going to turn this down low now. And we're going to cook this for about 15 to 18 minutes. It'll thicken up a little bit more. That chicken will cook. All those flavors will come together. We'll come back. I'll show you what it looks like then, and then we'll plate it up. Okay, so this has been cooking now for about 15 minutes. You can see the beautiful consistency it has. We're just going to do one final taste test. And then we're going to serve this up. Just one tip while you are simmering this away. Keep a wooden spoon or a heat-proof spatula around so you can get in the corners here. And it doesn't scorch on the bottom. Okay, so we're all ready to serve it up. I like to serve it with mashed potatoes. Now, if it's just for your family, you can just dump the mashed potatoes in a bowl, pour it over. But if you want it to look a little bit nicer, we're just going to scoop some of the ragout into the bowl, just like so. Spread it around. And I tell you, if you do this with turkey at home, it'll smell like Christmas dinner in your house. And then we're just going to take these are our country mashed potatoes. We'll put those around, like so. Like that. And then we'll just put a little bit of paprika over top. Then you can just put a spoon in there and give it to your guests like that, and they can serve it up.